Okay, I will take this one.
Me, I am Maria Filipa.
Yeah, please.
No. Yeah. I hope we create I don't like
Hello, good morning. Yeah, our session is supposed to start at 10, but due to the logistical issues, we can have some more minutes. We are planning to begin our session in 5 minutes. Just take a break for some minutes. Thank you very much for your understanding. If a promotional video is ready, then yeah, we can watch it. Yeah, our one of our Eclair family is working on it, and please wait for some seconds.
Your nature, new growth engines, and innovation, culture, welfare, arts, and tourism. For achieving Korea's national sustainable developmental goals, Namdo is the right solution. Today's Namdo shapes tomorrow's Korea. Land of Life, Best Danam.
Jeollanam-do is culture. With unique charms, excitement, and flavors, the arts of Jeollanam-do have lifted the spirit and pride of the Korean people. Our artistic passion across tradition and modernity makes Jeollanam-do home of arts. Jeollanam-do is tourism. Beautiful Rias Coast with rolling waves, mudflats where various creatures breathe alive, marine bridges connecting countless islands to the mainland. Jeollanam-do's splendid nature attracts visitors from home and abroad all 4 seasons. Jeollanam-do is success. To companies, Jeollanam-do provides one-to-one business support. To returning farmers, one-stop support services with smart technologies. And to young people, decent jobs with work-life balance. Jeollanam-do opens your door to success. Jeollanam-do is happiness. Jeollanam-do is reliable and safe home for children, encourages young people to follow their dreams, and helps senior citizens to live their most fulfilling life. Jeollanam-do will be always with you throughout your lifetime. Jeollanam-do completes happiness for all Koreans.
Jeollanam-do is blue economy. With its rich blue resources, Jeollanam-do is creating an innovative ecosystem for new energy industry. With the South Coast Tourism Belt, with our time-honored heritage, we are ushering in a new era for Jeollanam-do tourism. With a medical convergence cluster that links health science, medical treatments, and wellness resorts, Jeollanam-do will allow people to enjoy their 100-year lifespan. Jeollanam-do's drone and future car industry will pioneer new business modes. And its smart technologies in agriculture and fish farming will lead a future life science. Jeollanam-do's Wellness Smart City will function as a platform where citizens fully demonstrate their innovative quality. Sustainable growth that connects the past, present, and future. Innovative growth that transforms our lifestyles. The right solution is in Jeollanam-do. Jeollanam-do's advancement opens the future of Korea. Global Blue Engine, Jeollanam-do.
Okay, thank you very much for waiting. It's already 10 and 10, so it's time to begin our session today. Okay, let me start this session. Good morning and welcome to the session at LGMA Pavilion at UNFCCC COP28, hosted by ICLEI Local Government for Sustainability as the capacity of focal contact of LGMA, a constituency representing various levels of local government worldwide. I'm Yeonhee Park, Director of ICLEI Korea Office. So I'm so honored to moderate this session. It's really, I'm so pleased to meet you in this morning. I'm sure that you have really, you are the winners with that kind of complicated logistical situation. So anyway, thank you very much for coming. So this session is co-organized by Jeollanam-do Provincial Government, Republic of Korea, and the ICLEI Korea Office. The title of this session is Carbon Neutrality Strategies and Coastal Regions. We are going to discuss carbon neutrality strategies, particularly focused on the coastal ecosystems. And also, under this title, we are going to also discuss a kind of strategies we can develop towards carbon neutrality at coastal region, and what kind of elements should be seriously considered with a special focus. For For discussion, we invite two speakers for presentation from Korea and also three panelists from worldwide, including the Korean experts. So before begin, I have to invite very important speakers for our how can I say those speakers will inspire us what we can think in a creative way, and then we can discuss further in this session. So for the first speaker, I'm going to invite the representative of ICLEI local government for sustainability for this session. Our vice president is with us on time. So let me officially introduce our vice president. She is the mayor of Truk, Finland. Now she is the vice president of ICLEI local governments for sustainability. Our vice president Minna Arbe will be on stage. Please invite her with a big applause. Please, Mayor, please on the stage. Come on.
Hello, everyone, dear representatives and Governor of Jeollanam-do. I'm really proud to be here today as in my capacity as a Vice President of ICLEI and open this session with a few words. I'm the mayor of Turku in Finland. Turku is also a coastal city. We are a harbor city, so we need a little bit have a little bit understanding about what it takes to mitigate as well as adaptate to the climate change as a coastal area, being prepared for the sea level rise, being prepared for the heavy storms and all that kind of consideration that you have to do in advance in construction, in preparing and in adaptation. Coming to that in general level, thinking about this kind of events that we are having here today, it's so important to understand how much cities and local governments actually do matter in this respect. So we actually are doing all this kind of adaptation as well as, of course, the mitigation in city levels, in local levels, and hopefully in good cooperation with the national governments, because that's what we need. We need multi-level cooperation, and that's the way to be effective in our work that we are doing. And it's also good for the cities and local governments to have these networks like ICLEI, where you can have the more power and a louder voice, so to say, in regards to the national government, and also experience and expertise. And that's been very, very important for us in Turku as well, to use this kind of expertise that we get from the network, such as ICLEI. We're working with several tens of years, I would say 20, 30 years with ICLEI. Just to short in the end to remind you that it's not only about the climate actions as terms of reduction of emissions. We have to understand that the globe is actually not bearing only our actions as humans what comes to the emissions, but we need to think about the biodiversity. And we have to change our way of living to more circular economy way of thinking. And I think that this is very, very important for all of us as a city level, as a local level, and a national level to understand two issues. So first, to cooperate to get effective results, and secondly, to understand it's not only about emissions, it's about the biodiversity and circular economy as well. Of course, we need to adapt into this situation that we already have forced as a humans. I'm really happy to open this session. I hope we are having good discussions. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Thank you very much for the inspiring speech, the vice president of ICLEI Global. So she highlights that, can you see the multi-level action and urbanization pavilion? This is the beginning of her message, and she also highlights that a kind of integrated approach to respond to the climate crisis. Thank you very much, our mayor. Okay, so next I'm supposed to have the speech from the governor of the Jeolla provincial government, but she is in stock on his way. So I expect him to be here in some minutes, but as soon as he arrives, we can invite him. So before that, because our session has a limited minutes, so due to this kind of time constraints, I better start the presentation first, if you understand. Okay, so before inviting our speakers, as I mentioned that we have two presenters and three panelists. So let me just, without introduction of all the names of our speakers, I just invite our first speaker who can present about 전라남도 towards the carbon neutral province. This is the title of his presentation. So our first speaker will be Mr. Chan-woo Kim. Because we changed some order of the speakers, so please change the second one first. But for us, the first presentation will be made Mr. Chan-woo Kim, the former ambassador for climate change in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Korea. So now he is with us to present about the local government's climate action. So let me invite our former climate ambassador, Chan-woo Kim. Big applause, please. Applause you. Presentation. What about the pointer?
Pointer, please. Good morning. Yes. Today, you have heard many times one of the local provinces in Korea, 전라남도. And then it may not be comfortable for you to understand where that province is located. The second. Just have a look at the national map of Korea. On the southwestern part, 전라남도 is located. One of the main geographical characteristics is that this province is heavily indented coastline with more than 2,000 islands. The population of 전라남도 is less than 2 million people. So this province is one of the leading province in Korea. Yeah. Yeah. Before we talk about the 전라남도's strategy towards carbon neutrality by 2050, it is better for you to understand the national vision of Korea for carbon neutrality. Korea announced we will achieve carbon neutral economy by 2050. This vision is backed by the Carbon Neutrality Framework Act. And then one of the main tools to achieve Korea's carbon neutrality is we'd like to utilize emissions trading system. Around the 30 to 40% of Korea's national emissions are covered by Korean emission trading system. This trading system is one of the powerful tools for Korea to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. Under President, co-chaired by Prime Minister and from civil society, they are chairing the national committee. Under governor and mayor, there is a local committed to achieve carbon neutrality. We submitted our NDC for 2030. According to our 2030 NDC, we'd like to reduce Korea's carbon emissions by 40% compared to 2018. This number, 40, is a very big challenge for Korea. How big is that challenge is? If you look at this graph, and then our emission peaked in 2018, and then 2050, we will achieve carbon neutrality. And then 2030 NDC level is a little bit lower than the projected line towards carbon net zero. So this is a very big challenge. Without cooperation from local government, provinces, and cities, it is very difficult for country to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. We established allocation plan by each sector, and then according to this implementation strategy plan, we'd like to achieve by 2030 our announced 2030 NDC target. The main story is about Jeollanam-do. Jeollanam-do is one of the local provinces, but Jeollanam-do wants to be the leading province towards carbon neutrality, carbon neutral province by 2050. We analyzed threats and opportunities Jeollanam-do is facing in moving towards carbon neutral province. One of the biggest challenge for this province faces is that this province is heavily dependent on high carbon emission industries, steel making, and shipbuilding, and petrochemicals. These are very big challenges. In addition, all agri livestock is very vulnerable to climate change impacts. This Jeollanam-do is traditionally known as breadbasket of Korea. So agriculture, livestock industry is a very big in within Korea. But as you are already know, agriculture is very vulnerable to climate change impacts. These are the threats. And then the other threat is that high risk of climate change impacts. Early this year, this province has been affected by severe droughts. We didn't expect that kind of severe droughts. However, in order to overcome this kind of adverse effects, and we need take into account or reflect how to prepare for that kind of severe climate disasters. There are opportunities. This province is endowed with abundant renewable energies, including solar and wind and hydrogen. Compared to other provinces, this coastal island, this coastal province has big potential for solar and wind. The quality of wind and the quality of solar is very good compared to other provinces. This is a strong point. And then already this province has established, well-established a base for new energy businesses. And in addition, because this province is with long coastlines and with a lot of more than 2,000 islands, so this province wants to tap full potential of blue carbon. These are maybe the big opportunities for this province. If you look at the emission level in Korea, among 17 provinces and metropolitan cities, this province ranked number 3. That means this province emits a lot because of high dependence on heavy industries, shipbuilding, steelmaking, petrochemicals, and etc. 100, around 100 million tons of carbons are emitted every year, more than 2 to 3 times the national average in per capita. And then GHG intensity. This means that Jeollanam-do, or this province, faces great challenges in moving towards carbon neutral province. If you look at the emissions by sector, more than 80% of emissions comes from energy and industry. Just look at this provincial map. On the eastern side, there are 2 cities, Yeosu and Gwangyang. Yeosu and Gwangyang. In terms of energy consumption and in terms of industry, more than 90% of emissions are coming from those 2 cities. But those, ironically, those 2 cities are growth engine of this province. How to control the emissions coming from these 2 cities is a big challenge, and it will, if we overcome those challenges, it will be a big opportunities for us to become a carbon neutral province. In terms of things, forest plays the most important role in this province. We'd like to develop carbon, blue carbon potential because we are having a long coastline and the island and the wide areas of a sea. So blue carbon is a real future task for us to develop. Jeollanam-do, or this province, in the final stage of making a strategy towards 2050 carbon neutrality. The main theme of this carbon strategy is that we'd like to create a healthy and a clean province, and we'd like to make this province to be a carbon neutral province. We identified 5 components of this implementation strategy. First component is to develop clean energy. In the East, we'd like to develop, we'd like to utilize, fully utilize solar and wind, and utilizing those renewable energies of making green hydrogen. And this green hydrogen will be transported to the industrial complex. This is our big plan. So we'd like to utilize fully renewable energy. We don't want to be dependent on coal power plants. The second component is to make industries climate friendly. This chart, chart shows that in making steel, in the past, up to now, we used the coal. But instead of using coal, this steel smelter is introduced using hydrogen instead of coal. They are making a green iron, green steel. So we'd like to make industries located in Jeollanam-do climate friendly. Third component is that even though we cannot create palm tomato like in UAE, but we'd like to create smart and climate carbon neutral cities tailored to local conditions. E-mobility and the railroad are the basic components of that smart city. And then the fourth component is that we'd like to fully tap full potential of blue carbons. And then we'd like to we'd like to receive approval from the IPCC by studying hard on tidal flats and then seaweed, the potential of they are absorbing emission. The last component is that, anyway, as I mentioned in the beginning, this year, this province suffered from a very severe drought. We'd like to make this province resilient against climate change impact. When we draft and when we try to make this implementation strategy, we have learned many things. The first is that this strategy, implementation strategy, should have a consistency and a persistency. The second is that without having collaboration with central government, it is not possible for local government to have or make their local area climate or carbon neutral. It is impossible. So close cooperation with central government is really essential. The third point is that the second, we should educate or awaken the public, including local businesses, to be very sensitive to climate impacts. And then the international communities call for carbon neutrality. So education is really important. The last point is that in order to transition from the old industry to the new and future industries, and always just the transition, taking into account the weak and the vulnerable is indispensable. Final slide is that Jeollanam-do, the local province, wants to be the first penguin in Korea. I hope you will give a full support for Jeollanam-do, his local government, to be the first penguin in Korea. Thank you very much. Please drive and visit this beautiful province when you have time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for quite informative presentation. I think everyone in this session can figure out a kind of policy enabling condition for cities, what they could do and what they couldn't do. So I think I expect your more opinions during our panel discussions. Now, let me invite our second speaker from the provincial government, Director General of Environment and Forestry Bureau of Jeollanam-do Provincial Government, Republic of Korea, Mr. An Sang-hyun. Yeah, floor is yours. Please welcome him with big applause.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Sang-hyun An, Director General of the Environment and Forestry Bureau of Jeollanam-do. So everybody know here's Jeollanam-do. It's a provincial government. It's located at the southwestern coast of Korean Peninsula. So it's a great pleasure to be here today to speak to you about the coastal ecosystem of Jeollanam-do and its potential contribution to achieving net zero. The world currently faces unprecedented climate crisis and complex environmental issues. The extreme weather events are occurring more in the country and are posing real threat to the survival of the humanity. The global mean temperature in 2022 was 1.15 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial average, and the sea level rose by 9.8 centimeters in the past 30 years. The extreme weather conditions are followed by health and food issues, which are causing sizable damage across the globe. Responding to climate crisis is no longer a matter of choice, and it is a crisis we need to solve right now, not sometime in the far future. We must accelerate the net zero journey before it is too late. In the sense, gathering of COP to address the global climate crisis is all the more significant. I appreciate all of the efforts that have been made, and Jeollanam-do, my province, will also join the global effort to identify practical and specific measures to achieve net zero by 2050 globally. To some extent, the net zero journey so far had been driven mostly by land-oriented policies related to, for example, cities, buildings, energy transition, and eco-friendly transportation. However, to achieve net zero emissions globally by 2050, we need to broaden our perspective and expand the paradigm. As you well know, 70% of Earth's surface is ocean, and 2.7 billion people, which account for 34% of the world population, and about 70% of the world's large cities reside along the coastal area. So it is reasonable to say that the ocean and the coast are key to net zero. From that perspective, I would like to share some specific examples of how Jeollanam-do is preserving and utilizing the coastal ecosystem as a means to reach net zero, and ask the government whose countries also reside along the coast to join us. The first, let me briefly explain the key features of Jeollanam-do's coastal ecosystem. The southwestern part of Jeollanam-do province borders the sea along the rear coast. The coastline stretches over 6,500 kilometers and houses 2,165 gems of islands, circa 100,000 hectares of mudflat, which is one of the world's 5 largest mudflats, and the beautiful, shallow, and calm sea support the livelihood of the residents of the region. Such a special coastal ecosystem of Jeollanam-do holds immense natural value, and as we seek to combat climate crisis, it could also function as an effective solution to the grand mission of the humanity, achieving net zero. Let me give you some examples. Jeollanam-do is trying very hard to preserve its sea, coast, and lively mudflat. We designate 2,831 square kilometers of sea and coast as the National Marine Park, and 1,160 square kilometers of mudflat was inscribed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Mudflats are a tremendous reservoir of blue carbon. 43% of Korea's mudflats are in Jeollanam-do. They absorb 210,000 tons of carbon every year and contribute significantly in tackling climate crisis. Jeollanam-do plans to designate these mudflats as part of the National Marine and Ecological Park for better management and better carbon offsetting. World's largest seaweed farm is at the coast of Jeollanam-do. Korean labor, or kim, is very popular these days, and 80% of the Korean kim is produced in this area. The amount of carbon absorbed by seaweed far exceeds the volume of green carbon. According to domestic research, seaweeds such as sea mustard and labor absorb 3 to 5 times more carbon than tropical rainforest. Jeollanam-do produces 1.57 million tons of seaweed product per year, and our seed farms are emerging as a new source of greenhouse gas reduction and blue carbon ecosystem. The sea along the coastline of Jeollanam-do is averaging 30 meters deep, and the shallow waters provide the best spot for offshore wind. Hence, Jeollanam-do is ambitiously driving a 30 gigawatt offshore wind project, which is equivalent to reducing 28.53 million tons of greenhouse gas. We also plan to create a RE100 exclusive industrial complex that will be powered by the energy produced at this wind farm. Over 2,000 islands of Jeollanam are serving as microgrid testbed for eco-friendly energy. We are developing 50 environment-friendly, energy self-sufficient islands based on solar PV and wind energy. And we plan to take a step further and develop green hydrogen island as well. We have also built a world-class maritime industrial complex at the coast of Jeollanam-do, whose annual industrial output exceeds $100 billion. Various actions are implemented here to convert this complex into a net zero green industrial cluster. World's single largest steelmaker, POSCO Gwangyang Steel Mill, produces 20 million tons of steel per annum, and it plans to dramatically reduce carbon emissions during the steelmaking process through hydrogen-based iron making. Companies and research centers in the Yeosu Petrochemical Industrial Complex, one of the largest petrochemical industrial complexes in the world, are also developing CCUS technologies to sequester carbon emitted during production and recycle plastic waste. As you could see, the coastal ecosystem of Jeollanam has a huge potential of contributing to environment preservation and net zero. While proactively protecting the coastal ecosystem, Jeollanam will continue to make through preparation and investment to achieve net zero. Now it is the time to develop and implement new net zero strategies, which factor in the value of the ocean and the characteristics of the coastal ecosystem. I cordially ask fellow regional governments located along the coast to join Jeollanam endeavors. As I wrap up, I would like to share Jeollanam's commitment in joining the global net zero journey. Judging that the coastal ecosystem is the most critical key in addressing climate crisis, Jeollanam successfully hosted the World Expo 2012 under the theme of the living ocean and coast. And we will be hosting the World Island Exhibition in 2026, first ever exhibition to feature islands exclusively. And if opportunity allows, we hope to host the COP33 in 2028 and provide the venue for in-depth discussion on global net zero driven by coastal ecosystems. I sincerely ask for your support as we embark on the grand journey seeking to carry on the legacy of World Expo 2012. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director An. Let me ask you one question. Are you sure you all understand what this province's ambition towards climate action? If not, the information he shared is not enough, then we have also the panel discussion time, then you can raise your questions. So now we have the two speakers already. So I hope you understand that enabling policy condition for the climate action in Korea and for the province, and also this province's climate ambition for their actions. So now it's time to open the discussion with the panelists. But in the meantime, our honorable governor has arrived. Please welcome him first. How difficult the way he comes to this venue. So may I ask you, but for just 30 seconds for breathing our governor. So before open our discussion session, let me invite our the governor for encouraging remarks, not just the opening or any other speeches. I think we better hear our governor's voice first before our discussion. So now this floor is open to our governor, Young-nok Kim, Jeollanam-do Provincial Government, Republic of Korea. Let's welcome him with big applause. The floor is yours.
I am sorry. I was lost for 1 hour. At first, my first time. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to meet you. I am Kim Young-no, Governor of Jeollanam-do, Republic of Korea, South Korea. I am deeply honored to host the forum on the theme of carbon neutrality strategies in coastal areas at COP28. A big thank you to Eclay President Frank Coney for your incredible support and leading the world's largest climate and environment local government network. Special thanks to former Korean ambassador for climate change, Kim Chan-woo, for opening the forum with a keynote address, and to Park Yeon-hee, director of Eclay Korea office. Professor Kwon Bong-oh of Bunsan University and expert for leading vibrant discussions. With recent global climate crises, such as large-scale wildfires in the Mediterranean and the devastating flood in Libya, addressing climate change and achieving carbon neutrality is more urgent than ever. We must confront climate disasters and urgently address the global challenge of carbon neutrality. Coastal areas gaining global attention are crucial in this endeavor. Research indicates that coastal ecosystems are key to overcoming the climate crisis. Jeollanam-do province, with its rich coastal ecosystems, including numerous islands, Ramsar wetland, and UNESCO World Natural Heritage bird flat, actively contribute to preserving and restoring coastal areas, forming the foundation for carbon neutrality. Initiatives such as creating sea forest as a habitat for marine life and pioneering Korea's first tidal flat vegetation restoration project showcase our commitment. We are also developing a national marine eco park in the UNESCO World Natural Heritage tidal flats of Jeollanam-do for relaxation and healing and preservation. Furthermore, we are dedicated to the successful hosting of the 2026 Yosu World Island Exhibition, the world's very first exhibition on island. Building on such effort, we are determined to successfully attract COP33 for Jeollanam-do state, making a substantial contribution to the global fight against climate change. I hope that today's forum will foster insightful discussions on conserving coastal ecosystems and effective strategies for climate crisis response. Thanks to all who have joined us today, and I wish everyone great health and happiness. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Governor. Now our governor is sitting next to our vice president of ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability. So now it's time for the panel discussion. Let me invite all the previous two speakers and three panelists. Please take a seat in front. So while they are having seated, let me mention their names for the time being. Yeah, 이쪽으로 앉아. Yeah, feel free to take any seats. We have three panelists. One is Bong-Oh Kwon, Professor Kunsan National University, and also one mayor from Argentina, Eduardo Tassano, mayor of Corrientes, and also one activist, NG5, director of ICLEI US office. So what about the Dr. An? Yeah, okay. No, please take a seat. So now it's time to listen for the three panelists. So I'm going to invite our mayor from Argentina first. Is it all right? So I think you can make some comments, and then it would be nice. You can share some your own thoughts and experiences for the honors.
Well, thank you for this possibility, this invitation. I really impressed by the Korean experience. I am from the mayor of city of the north of Argentina, north and west and east, north and east, between Brazil, Uruguay, and Paraguay. And my city is next to the Paraná River. Paraná River is the second one in South America after Amazonas, 2,200 kilometers. And we have a common reality with Latin American cities. All cities with disorganized development and no care of the ecosystems on and the sweet water that we have a lot because of the river, because of lagoons, because lowlands, and our city, and that was the plan, the water plan that we did, was very affected by floods by river, but mainly floods by rain. Then this affected many parts of the city. The city was built over lagoons in many places. And then we have very big problems after heavy rains. We can stop the activity of the city, and I'm talking about 5 or 6 years ago, and then decided to do a water plan, first cleaning the ducts, the rain ducts. We have more than 220 kilometers of ducts. The city is over 400,000 population, and many of them was obstructed. I'm cardiology, and it's similar than coronary arteries obstructions. And then we decided to clean, and the cleaning of the ducts was an important improvement in the after rains in the city. And after did smaller works and bigger works with big ducts, trying to solve the floods of the city. That was very important because our city is next to the river, like I said, and we have many ecosystems, many species that we must preserve. We don't have the Korea's industrial development, but we have many sweet water and many diversity of forests and plants. And we are working so hard in these aspects to preserve for the future. That is our experience. The water plan in the city improved the reality after the heavy rains. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So microphone goes to our Korean experts, Professor Kwon. Please take the microphone, please.
Thank you for the impressive welcome address by Yongno Kim, Governor of Jeollanam-do, and for the insightful presentation of two speakers. I'm Bong Kwon from Kunsan National University and then Blue Carbon Research Center in Republic of Korea. It's my honor to have a talk at the COP28 to highlight the excellence of blue carbon features in Jeollanam-do. I'll focus on two main aspects: the distinctive features of the marine and coastal environment in Jeollanam-do, and the significance of blue carbon ecosystem restoration, conservation, and the related policy in local governments such as Jeollanam-do. Firstly, the marine and coastal environment of Jeollanam-do is characterized by a complex coastline with numerous islands forming a Lea-type coast. This configuration creates the expansive tidal flats serving as a crucial habitats for the endangered species such as migratory birds. And recognizing these values, several Korean mudflats have been inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And then with 90% of heritage site located in Jeollanam-do, the unique marine environment of Jeollanam-do is well suited for various Korean blue carbon habitat. It boasts the largest area of actionable blue carbon habitat such as salt marsh and seagrass, and emerging blue carbon habitat, a bare tidal flat among local government in Korea. Additionally, the region exhibit high level of macroalgae and the basic sediment recognized as emerging blue carbon in offshore areas. Leveraging this extensive habitat, Jeollanam-do blue carbon site sequestered approximately 2 million tons of CO2 annually. This constituting about 40% of total carbon sequestration in coastal blue carbon habitats. Overall, the blue carbon value of Jeollanam-do stands out as the highest among local government in Korea. Second, to preserve and enhance the Jeollanam-do's exceptional blue carbon value, the attention and action from the region and beyond are paramount. Currently, Jeollanam-do take a pioneering role among Korean local government in actively implementing blue carbon related projects. Specifically, the province engaged in initiatives such as blue carbon habitat restoration, expansion of the marine protected area, and tourism and local economic revitalization, linked to UNESCO World Heritage Site, introduction of payment of marine ecosystem service, and strengthening the blue carbon network. Jeollanam's proactive approach sets a noteworthy example, making a significant impact compared to the other local government in Korea. I anticipate positive outcomes not only for Jeollanam-do but also for the entire Korean and the global carbon ecosystem, blue carbon ecosystem. Looking ahead, I believe Jeollanam-do will continue to lead the enhancing Korean blue carbon value. Finally, I extend my great expectation and support to Jeollanam-do as a trailblazer, encouraging other government to actively participate in blue carbon activation and following the leading role set by Jeollanam-do. Through these endeavors, we hope that COP33 will be held in Jeonnam. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, due to a time constraint, I minimize my comments on your other discussions. So let me invite our NG5, the director of ICLEI US office.
Thank you, Yonhee. And thank you very much to the governor for gracing us with your comments today. I too was lost for an hour, so I can definitely relate to what you were feeling as you were coming over here today. I'm very inspired by what we heard in terms of nature-based solutions in particular happening in your region. So thank you very much for the work that you're doing there. In the United States, at the ICLEI USA office, we offer cities in the United States a software tool. It's called ClearPath. ClearPath will help cities to conduct a greenhouse gas inventory and set targets and mitigate strategies, put their models in place to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions locally. So we looked at what would it take for US cities to achieve a science-based target, to be on track for zero emissions by 2050. Where would they need to be by 2030? We found that for a US city, when we apply the Human Development Index, so we ask US cities to do their fair share globally to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, they need to reduce those emissions by 63% by 2030 in order to be on track for 2050 zero emissions. We know that this is very ambitious. We know that the most important thing that US cities can do is to continue to advocate for the elimination of coal-fired power plants and to move to more renewable energy, storage, efficiency in our buildings and transportation, and so on. We also provide cities with a tool and a method to quantify carbon removals from forests and trees. That has now been replicated in the global protocol for community scale greenhouse gas emissions accounting, the GPC, which is a protocol that's developed by ICLEI, C40, and World Resources Institute. We're about to update the GPC, and we'll have information now in the GPC guidance for cities to also quantify their scope 3 emissions. And so it strikes me that the opportunity for industrial decarbonization and efficiency is going to help to reduce the global scope 3 emissions for communities as you continue to decarbonize. So thank you very much for all of your efforts.
Okay, thank you very much, Angie. Thank you very much for the various kinds of information sharing. Yeah. Actually, I want to mention about what they really highlighted during their discussions, but the time, I'm afraid of the time. So what I'm going to do is that I need to apologize to you first because I'm not able to give that floor to express your own opinions about the presentations and discussions. Instead, I'm sure that this opportunity is not the end of that momentum. This is the really momentum for starting closer networking and closer cooperation towards the carbon neutrality. If you agree, then let me just share one logistical information and then also say one words only. So let me share one logistical information is that this is the really meaningful opportunity. So as soon as ends this session, then we immediately have the family photos, not only with all the speakers, but also with all the participants. Is it okay? And then last one is, if you agree with me that this is the real momentum for starting for the closer networking and cooperation towards the carbon neutrality, then let me just wrap up with the big applause because ICLEI is the real network for the knowledge sharing and closer cooperation. Would it be all right? Okay, then let's have the big applause first. And then thank you very much for joining this session. And then let's meet more frequently and then discuss further. Is it okay? Okay, this is the end of the session. And thank you very much for joining. Okay, immediately let's have our photos. 네, 요쪽 앞쪽으로 해주세요.